Yeah, what up, man? How you guys doing? We're gonna give people some time to get in. Now that it's out there, notifications should be getting sent out. We'll just wait for people to pile in, and we'll start the show here in a couple minutes. Enjoy the music. Appreciate you guys for stopping by. We'll be with you shortly. Yeah, you guys know the first few minutes of every show, I always introduce everybody, introduce the show, usher it in with the nation, give you guys your shout-outs, acknowledge your presence. I do want to say that I just wanted to remind you all how much I appreciate all the support, the community members, my moderators, the viewers, subscribers, those that share, those that like and have subscribed and been riding with me. Appreciate you guys. Let's go ahead and check out who's here this evening. Again, I appreciate everybody for stopping by and being a part of the show. Hashtag 2LiveCrew. And for those watching this on replay, hashtag ReplayGang. All right, so early squad. We got Barry, Mike. Oh, they're also mod squad, by the way, so appreciate you guys for coming through and holding it down. James, Lord Doritos, welcome. Baby Yoda, Josh, hashtag mod squad, appreciate you guys. We got James, we got info assistant. Oh, but it's a little jumpy thing. We got Joeseph, Carter, what up, man? Darius is here, appreciate you. Hashtag Sneed Army. That's right. Having Fun is here. Joey, appreciate you. Jess, my brother Keon. Pat, appreciate you guys. Kim is here. Idiot Test is here. Yeah. What else we got? My brother Jose, what up, man? Gave you a special man. My brother David. What up, man? ACDC is here. MS is in the house. You guys are the best. I hope you guys are enjoying the beats, man. That's from Tana So Lit. Check them out on Twitter. Also, chosenbeats.club. Nightcore Suzuki, what up? Kimberly is here. Thanks for stopping by. My brother Cesar is in the house. Richard, good to see you. D. Gaff, good to see you as well. Big Pete, what up, man? Too many morning calls to make another. Yep. Bart, Troy, appreciate you guys for coming through tonight. Big John, what up, man? Yeah, buddy. You guys are the best. Anyways, Mr. X Maximus, what up, bro? 7 Lucifer is here. Appreciate you guys so much. All right, we're 5 minutes in. Well, we're approaching 6 minutes in. Let's go ahead and get the show started, shall we? All righty, we are live. Let's do this. KJ, Troy, Medardo, good to see you all. Thanks for coming through. Let's go ahead and get in with this first topic. This one's a good one. I have little information on Dish. I have information on AT&T. There's some Verizon stuff. There's T-Mobile stuff. There's a ton. Usually what I do with the show is, since I don't know like where to start, I just start with whatever's in front of me. So we'll do that. It's AT&T FirstNet news. Wet the whistle. Okay. So the first story out of AT&T and FirstNet. All right. And this one is a coverage expansion news update. FirstNet reaches a huge coverage milestone. This is, again, I think the most important thing if you live in rural America, if you are a first responder, you know, if you're a firefighter, if you are a medic, EMS, any of that stuff, you got to get signal inside of really tough, you know, lower levels, elevators. I mean, you can imagine the worst of scenarios being a first responder, right? So the band 14, 700 megahertz FirstNet contract for this network, it now exceeds 2.71 million square miles of coverage. They now have over 2 million active connections through the FirstNet contract and the FirstNet network core. There is a ton of devices now connected to FirstNet. There's watches, there's smartphones, there's hotspots, all of the agency IoT. FirstNet is chugging along in a great way. People are responding to FirstNet. No pun intended. FirstNet, first responders, yeah, I know. Clearly people dig FirstNet. Those that get it love it. Very few people are turning around and going elsewhere for their solutions, right, for their wireless. And this is a great milestone. That's a lot of coverage. 2.71 million square miles. I'm not sure what the Verizon wireless footprint is, the geographical range, but I'm guessing this probably exceeds it because we were getting word that AT&T had passed all of the different, you know, metrics of Verizon. So AT&T's FirstNet, clearly the coverage king of the future moving forward. So this coverage lead that AT&T can establish will expand and get larger because of the contract. So I've already been on the record and said that I think that the coverage carrier is now AT&T. And part of that obviously is because of the FirstNet contract. And if you don't have good coverage where you live, chances are T-Mobile won't be your answer moving forward. Also, chances are it's not going to be Verizon moving forward. I don't think either of those companies are going to be motivated to expand their network any more than they already have. Their focus is going to be home internet capacity, millimeter wave. You know, they've got all these other things, enterprise and things of that nature. not that the networks won't be good where you live. They might be, but what I'm saying is if you don't have coverage now, it's going to be really hard to expect, and I think unrealistic, to expect Verizon and T-Mobile to just all of a sudden bring coverage your way. You might get some upgrades. Like if a T-Mobile site gets a Band 71 upgrade, that could help your coverage. Maybe the site that you live near is Band 2 only. Well, if they upgraded it and modernized it and put low band there, obviously the range will likely double, maybe triple, depending on the height, depending on how much low band they put, and obviously when 5G radios are grand scale deployed, that changes a lot of stuff, especially with standalone 5G. So that's situational. I don't think moving forward it's fair to expect anyone other than AT&T and FirstNet to be your answers for coverage. That's really what it's going to be. So in 2020 alone, FirstNet incurred 100,000 square miles of coverage, which is an incredible feat. So they've been doing this for a few years now. Big shout out to Gene. Thanks for the $2 super chat, buddy. Appreciate you very much. You've got police, fire, public safety workers, people that are career in public safety, people that are volunteer public safety, EMS. You got 15,000 agencies already on the first responders network, FirstNet. FBI, Army, military, you've got all the services involved there. They're all in on FirstNet. If you qualify for FirstNet, you got to get in on this. And the pricing is good. It's like $35, $40, $45 a line. It's good. It's fair. The only thing I would say is a shame is that you can't bundle up your entire family as a FirstNet account, right? That's really the only shortcoming, because that would be nice. And I don't know about a multi-line discount or any of that stuff. I'm just saying it would be nice to get everybody on that, even if they don't get the same exact priority or whatever. FirstNet's great. I'm telling you guys right now, I've used it in all types of scenarios. Big shout out to the plug. Appreciate you. In rural, it's number one. In urban, it's fantastic. You guys can imagine that in rural, it's all about extended coverage, getting the range. In urban, it's going to be about getting signal in lower levels, elevators, right? 700 megahertz, high power. Tribal lands, they got coverage there, right? No one can cover the U.S. like FirstNet. And AT&T, the beneficiary of it, and AT&T customers get to take advantage. FirstNet reaches 99% of the U.S. population currently, based on the claims and the metrics. Band 14 has reached 90% of their coverage goal, so they're very close to completing it. And they have provided backup generators at all of their sites. That is part of the agreement. That's part of the contract itself. Obviously, the Texas power situation the last couple of weeks exacerbates that and really emphasizes and drives that point home. So, it's an incredible standalone network core that makes it a unique experience. It is not the same as an AT&T network core. It is not. It is different. I've been testing it for about a month, and it is absolutely a unique experience. The next step, I think, is going to be completing the coverage goal, probably continuing to add capacity. And then also with the 5G, whenever they decide they're going to turn that on, that'll be through AT&T, obviously. They're developing a 5G network core as well. They've got millions wrapped up into that. It's a big contract. For those of you that qualify for the FirstNet, it is incredible. It is great. You will love it. It is a unique experience. I loved it. It has been an incredible month of usage. I wish I could keep it. I wish I could keep the FirstNet line that I've been using. I really do. It would be nice to keep it. But and you never know. I might be able to pull it off. I might. There's a couple of things I could do through my work. Being that I am an active shooter trained instructor, teacher, educator, I think there's something I could figure out there. We shall see. All right, let's go on to the next topic. And this one will be This one's going to be a little bit of Verizon and AT&T bickering. For those of you that have been following the story, this just continues to go on and on and on. The National Advertising Division gets the wonderful and incredible task of basically babysitting the carriers as they make false claims about their networks. We're the best, they're the worst, we're better than them, da-da-da-da-da. It's like watching children argue, you know. But all's fair in love and business, apparently, you know. Right, exactly, Pete. All right, so Verizon and AT&T have been bickering back and forth in these advertisements. Now they're going to the National Advertising Division and complaining about it. There's public advertisements that have been live. This dates back several months, I think like 5 or 6 months ago. I update this from time to time. The best 5G network gets thrown around like it's nothing. It's just one of those things, right? Like every company wants to advertise that their network is like some kind of 5G supremacy, so they advertise it as such. They try to convince people with maps and colors and icons and images and buzzwords and all this other stuff. And in the advertising, they stress, download speeds, availability of 5G range. But the National Advertising Division has to sift through all this nonsense and try to give you, the most accurate advertising, So they've been overseeing the advertising accuracy and the claims of said carriers. So whenever Verizon makes a commercial, or AT&T does, or T-Mobile makes a claim in a commercial, they have to scrutinize it, especially when another rival carrier complains and files a petition. Hey, they're saying they got the most 5G. We want to, rebuke that claim and whatever, so they sit there and argue. So this particular claim is from Verizon complaining about AT&T, and the claim was that AT&T is building 5G on America's best network. So they're basically saying that they're going to have the best 5G on the current best 4G LTE base. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, the NAD, the National Advertising Division, which is a part of the Better Business Bureau from what I understand, AT&T has to adjust its wording to fix its claims to make it more accurate. And in my opinion, it's getting kind of annoying. The whole thing started with the whole 5G thing. That dates back like a year and a half ago or something, almost 2 years. And I don't know. It's never going to stop. Look, if you guys are holding out hope for a day where the carriers are honest about their advertising and their network performance, that day is never going to come. The carriers are never going to tell you the truth. They're going to tell you what they want you to know. They're going to exaggerate the truth. They want to make themselves look better, obviously. And I really don't know if that day's ever going to come. Like, when is there going to be a revolutionary carrier that's going to tell you the truth? I mean, most businesses don't. They always want to build themselves up. They want to make themselves, look better. Hey, Al, what's going on, man? Anyways, what's interesting here is that AT&T kind of wins. I guess, Verizon came knocking and said, hey, there's a problem with the advertising. Hey, Nikki, good to see you, man. AT&T actually has to adjust its wording a little bit, but they do get to keep some of the wording and some of the advertising. So AT&T will get the okay to keep the claims that their 4G LTE network is better than all the others. And a big shout out to Cesar. Thank you for that super chat, buddy. We got that the Superman pair. That's N41, man. Small cell man, Mr. Millimeter Wave flying through the sky. Thanks for that super chat, man. Appreciate it. So I guess AT&T kind of wins. They properly defended themselves, maybe, or the NAD agreed with their claim. So that's kind of cool. T-Mobile has been making claims that they have the most 5G. They have national 5G. AT&T has been making claims that they have the best 5G and the most 5G. Verizon has been making claims they have the fastest 5G, and they have nationwide 5G. Meanwhile, we don't know the truth of any of this. We look at coverage maps, the maps lie. We look at, people's anecdotal testing, and we see the availability. What are we supposed to do? We're the innocent customers trying to sift through all the marketing nonsense and the ploys and the games. So AT&T wins here, I guess. That's my takeaway. I guess they accurately defended the Verizon attack, and they get to keep their advertising claims. And and also, I think AT&T was able to successfully get T-Mobile to have to change their America's Best 5G. So I guess AT&T's winning in all this NAD stuff. We got a question in the live chat from El Hamadi. Hopefully I didn't mess up the pronunciation there. Good to see you, brother. He said, do you see Verizon and AT&T tweaking their unlimited data plan? I will say that I think AT&T's Elite is very similar and probably just as good when you look at the performance and like what you get out of the plan, the premium data, the power user allocations, the features of the Elite plan are just as good as anything that T-Mobile's offering. So it's kind of like the equivalent. I think when T-Mobile was looking at making their Magenta Max plan, they were looking at the AT&T Elite plan and saying, how do we match or exceed or make it similar to that? So I don't really think AT&T has anything to answer to. I think that Elite plan is great. I've been using a Business Elite line for the better part of a year and a half, and it's an incredible line. It's arguably my favorite line. I watch all my video on that line. There's no restrictions on it, no throttling. I get 100 gigs of hotspot tethering. It's amazing. I love it. I think Verizon, unfortunately, they're on the outside looking in on that type of plan because Verizon can't offer those things. Their network is the most constrained, right? They're the most spectrum starved. They don't have the capacity. Although they have incredible tower site density, like nobody's got a better, tower grid. Sites in the most places, the tower density is very good. So you get nice clean handoffs, a great voice performance, a reliable network. They do have good capacity in most markets, in my opinion. They're the best carrier in Cleveland, where I use it. And when I travel, I've never found myself needing more, so I still think they're very good, even though I think AT&T offers a really nice capacity option because of all the carriers they got. And they're upgrading all these sites with band 14 and band 30. Now, the T-Mobile plans, where they're coming into play here is if you've got markets that have a lot of N41 build out. Like if you're getting a lot of tower upgrades, T-Mobile's plan, the Magenta Max, is incredible. It's going to be great if the N41 is out there. Because the moment you start getting a lot of people on that Magenta Max plan and you don't have tower site upgrades and you don't have the capacity, the user experience is going to suck. You're going to be heavily throttled because of literally tower sites getting slower. See, that's the thing. Like, you don't have to be actively throttled on the Magenta Max plan. If a tower site's congested, it's congested. If it's band 12 only or if it's band 2 only, and it's not recently modernized. What are you going to do? I think with the newfound capacity in the C-band from Spectrum Auction 107, the one that just completed, and we got the assignment of the licenses, I think Verizon's going to be able to do that and more starting next year. As soon as those upgrades happen, man, Verizon is going to be an unrecognizable network. AT&T is going to have huge capacity. And by the way, T-Mobile is going to be building all year. So they're going to be, they're going to have tons of capacity too. The C-band auction just gives AT&T and Verizon now the opportunity to do what T-Mobile is going to be doing this year, right? So should be really nice and really awesome. Let's go ahead and get to another item. This is, what do we got here? SpaceX, StarLink news. Yeah. All right. I'm all in on SpaceX. I don't know if you guys know this. I love the concept of the SpaceX StarLink home internet and broadband service. This is a satellite internet option that has now actually provided a public map of where they have the services live. Yes, Jinto, I got Starlink news for you. So the map that they offered, the Starlink offering is limited. It's kind of sort of in a beta test. Okay, so by that I mean it's not commercially deployed. It's not grand scale available. You can't sign up for it and get the service right away. You're kind of on a waiting list unless you're in these areas. The map shows current user availability in parts of the country, and we do have some trends here. It's mostly the northwestern U.S. So if you live in, these Pacific Northwest states, like there's a ton of availability in Washington State. Oregon, it's like half of the state. I did see parts of Idaho. So, like that northwest part of the U.S. Not the entire states are covered. It is based on like county coverage. So it looks like they selected certain counties. Southern California made its way there. I saw Santa Monica and L.A. was offered. That's interesting because the Pacific Northwest does not have populations like SoCal. So I think they're testing capacity in certain counties, and I also think they're testing coverage, right? They're collecting data, they're looking at performance, how people are enjoying it and such. I also saw Minnesota in the map. I saw Wisconsin. I'd say like about half of those states are covered, half of the counties, so that's pretty sizable. I saw Michigan and also Cook County in Illinois, which is where Chicago is. So we got a couple of big markets there. Santa Monica, LA, Chicago, those are big time counties. Cook County probably has like 10 million people? It's gotta be at least 10 million. I bet you LA County is like 20 million. Right, so those are big places. I did see also locations in Maine. What up, Maine? There was like a couple of counties there, and then I saw, I don't know if it was New Hampshire or Vermont, I forget. Maybe take a look at the map and you can kind of see the county level deployment, but it's sprinkled in there. Big shout out to my brother Darius. Thank you for that super chat, buddy. #SneedArmy. Yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate you. I didn't see any mention of Kansas. I didn't see, anything outside of what I, listed. So I think somebody linked the map. A big shout out to Josh. Thank you for that. You could see if you're in areas that might have it. All I know, ladies and gentlemen, is when this service is grand scale, meaning they get all the hardware launched, they launch all these satellites, and the services get ironed out. I mean, it's new. This is happening really fast, in my opinion. It's going to be an incredible service for so many people. I can think of so many different people it's going to help in the scenarios. Big shout out to Vlad. Thank you, Vlad, for that donation. He gave me the "How's it going" pair. Yeah, thank you, man. Oh, Cook County's about 5 million. Okay, thanks, David. Appreciate you, bud. Corrected me there. I always, for some reason, 6 million like stuck out in my head. So I don't know. I guess I've been wrong this whole time. To kind of wrap up the story, the map, the service, if you are interested in the service, go to the website, check it out. You can put in your address. They'll let you know about it. I know that there's some other locations, the map continues to grow. But as of right now, the only limitations I see are capacity limitations. Maybe the coverage is a limitation as well, but I think they're right where they want to be. We're not seeing major hiccups in Starlink. Everything seems to be happening in stride. So my expectation is that over the course of the next year, this is going to be a flawless, seamless experience with tons of capacity. And by that, I mean like they're going to be deploying all these satellites, launching them 200-300 at a time, probably within year's end. Okay, the launches, I think, have been like 50, 60 satellites early on. That's going to accelerate. We're going to see that jump up to 100, 200 at a time. And as they go into orbit, they offer the capacity for the service, and they offer additional coverage. So the service itself, if you'd like to partake, if it's available to you or coming soon to your area, the service for at least the beta test cost, it's $99 per month for the service. It's $500 for the hardware that you need for the service. So by that, I mean the actual satellite dish, the receivers, the cabling, all that stuff. It's $500. Now, it seems a little bit expensive, but hey, you need hardware in order to push the service. I don't know if it's something you can negotiate with them. I don't know if it's something that you can, try to work out a deal. I don't know. But if you think about it, this service is a rural America game changer. And the reason I say rural America is because obviously a lot of my viewers are rural Americas. They live in these rural areas. There's not a lot of infrastructure. This is going to be a game changer for third world countries where literally they don't have internet. There is no fiber optic installations. There's no coax. Most people are connected to these cellular networks that are poor. Like they're poor performers. There's not a lot of bandwidth. They don't have a lot of fiber. The networking is obviously limited and just less than stellar. I mean, there's countries, ladies and gentlemen, contrary to popular belief, there are countries that are still in 3G. Their major connections are 3G. Some have some 4G LTE, some don't. Areas are completely devoid of advanced cellular technologies, and the fiber optic's not even an option. There's no way. They're not digging, they're not installing, they're not spending. They can't do it. And some of the terrain in some of these countries, it's very difficult, So it's going to be a game changer for a lot of people. And they've worked through the weather problems. They've got, the hardware that you attach to your roof. They've got like heaters in them, to deal with snow. It works in the rain. Yeah, Barry, exactly. Place like Costa Rica. This is going to work. As the launches of the satellites continue to go, they continue to improve and deploy. The capacity is going to improve. I just did a video earlier today, #SneedShorts. The CEO, Elon Musk, came out and said that speeds have doubled. People are, or even tripled in some examples. So they've gone from like 50 to 150 megabits per second. They've now pushed it to 300 megabits per second. That puts it right up there with some of the best broadband options in the country that's not gigabit fiber. I mean, it's competitive. Like my home internet provider in my area can offer me 300 megs, but it's trash. It's unreliable, and it's not quality, and I can't count on it. Yeah. I don't know about being a wireless CEO, man. That'd be something. But I think at 300 megabits per second on the downlink, that would be suitable for most people. I'd say at least 90% of the country could probably use 300 megabits. Now, the people that live in rural America in places where they don't have options, it would be a godsend. But even for people that have fiber but wanted to try it, it would be a legitimate option for them. I expect that a year from today, we're talking about 500 or 600 megabits for StarLink. And then I believe a year from today, we'll basically have the world covered. Basically. Like the U.S. will be completely covered. Most countries will have complete coverage. Another option for people as well. So if you live in New York City, you don't like Verizon Fios, you're sick of Cox Communications, you could just kick everybody to the curb and go with StarLink if you wanted to. So it's bringing more competition. It's bringing another option. It's bringing a new infusion of technology innovation. I love it. I'm a big supporter of StarLink. I think it's going to be a great option for many people. All right, so that takes care of like the first phase of tonight's topics. We're making a pretty good pace. We're at 35 minutes. I think this show is probably going to be about an hour. That seems like probably where we're going to end up at. Let's see here. Let's pivot a bit. I actually want to talk a little bit about Samsung. But not Samsung as the phone, but Samsung in terms of Samsung electronics. All right, so this one is very cool. And the reason I say that is because this one is showing innovation in networking. This is going to make our connections better. And I'm talking about smartphones and modem technologies and such. All right, so Samsung has a new technology that's going to dramatically improve 5G antenna and radio performance. What we're going to be seeing is a set of technologies that is going to increase the speed throughput, and it will make 5G and 4G LTE continue to have gains in throughput. Expect a possible 30% improvement in throughput performance according to Samsung. They are going to use a combination of AI and advanced signal processing to create a mobility enhancement that will enhance and improve the accuracy of 4G and 5G signal transmission from tower site base stations to the radios in your smartphones. We're talking about a massive MIMO radio innovation that will manifest itself for huge gains in mid-band frequencies. Oh, man. I know Zero Cool RF is salivating at this innovation. Because when I think of mid-band frequencies, I think about 2021 for T-Mobile. I think about 2022, AT&T and Verizon. And actually this year for Verizon too with CBRS. There's going to be huge gains in our handheld technology and the base stations and radios in our tower sites. Oh, man. So N41 2.5 gigahertz for T-Mobile, you're going to see some gains there. Band 48 CBRS for Verizon, you're going to see some gains there, and I think that's important there. The range on N41, in my experience, has been less than stellar. T-Mobile needs to improve that. I think this helps a little bit. Band 48 for Verizon, the CBRS, it's going to be a big piece of what they do this year for capacity. That's going to help too. Remember, CBRS is low power. You're going to need every little bit of help you can to improve the signal strength. And last but not least, C-band. This is going to help C-band be even greater than the potential it already has. The 3.7 gigahertz N77 and N78. So I'm very excited about this. This is going to be a very cool innovation. The only thing that I found a little concerning is that no mention of low band or millimeter wave in this release. So this is not going to help band 71, apparently. It's not going to help any 700 megahertz frequencies like band 13 or band 14 or band 12, right? So I didn't see any mention of low band, and I didn't see any mention of millimeter wave either. So the N260, N261 situation, not really affected by this move. Anyways, for those of you that know what massive MIMO is, it's massive multiple input, multiple output, basically leverages multiple antennas in the user hardware, so basically your smartphone or your device. There's modems and mobile hotspots that have this technology as well. It increases the number of antennas at the base stations of tower sites and the number of antennas that our phones are connecting with. So massive MIMO was a game changer for advanced LTE. It brought a lot of capacity to our networks. When phones started to get the massive MIMO hardware upgrades, people started seeing like their 5 megabit per second connections were doubling and tripling in capacity. I remember the first phone I had that had 2x2 MIMO. I was like, holy crap, This is a game changer. And then we went 4x4 MIMO, and it was even better, right? Essentially doubling capacity potential. So these are the innovations that happen within our smartphones and at the base stations and the radios of our tower sites that make them better and offer more capacity. This is good stuff. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bundle up this iPhone rumor since we're talking about smartphones. I'm going to go ahead and add this in there. This is obviously rumors, so I can't say it's 100%, confirmed or anything like that. I'm not going to go out on a limb, but there's some pretty high confidence in this Apple iPhone rumor. The story goes is that there's a strong likelihood that the iPhone 13 will indeed have the Qualcomm Snapdragon X60 modem. So the iPhone 12 has the X55. So that would mean that there is indeed a second modem that is from Qualcomm going to the next generation iPhone. And the last little bit of inside information I had was that they were trying to get the X60 into the newest iPhone, and it just didn't work out. Whether it was the readiness or whatever, I don't think they were far along enough in the development or the usage, or maybe it was production. I don't know, but it didn't get there. So they had to use the X55, which it's been a great experience. I think the new iPhone cellular modems have been great, so I'm not complaining. The new X60 modem that'll probably be in this new iPhone, it's built on a 5-nanometer process. So we're transitioning away from the 7-nanometer process, going to a 5-nanometer process, which means you're going to get some enhancements. The X60 will be better than the X55. You're going to get improved 5G technologies, enhancements, and capabilities. You'll get improved power efficiency because of the smaller form factor. 5-nanometer process. Things are getting tiny. I'd also like to throw in that with that improved power efficiency and power management, the 5G network upgrade capabilities are going to be great. We're actually going to start to see inter-5G carrier aggregation. So what that means is we're going to finally see, based on standalone networks, obviously, standalone 5G, we're going to see mid-band carrier aggregating with millimeter wave. So we're talking about what? 400, 800, 1100 megahertz of spectrum, potentially. I don't know. All I know is I can foresee a situation where if somebody's connected to like 400 megahertz of ultra wideband, millimeter wave, and throw in 200 megahertz of C-band, you're connected to 600 megahertz of spectrum. That'd be incredible. We're talking what, like 6 gig speed, It'll be pretty sweet. Not that you need 6 gigs on your smartphone, but you could hotspot it to several devices. Every phone would basically have a gig speed, your laptops. It would just be really nice. So as a follow-up to the story, all indications is that the 2022 iPhones, which would be next year's iPhones, not the ones that'll come out this fall, but the following fall. So fall 2022, they'll have the X65 modem. That phone will do 10 gigabits per second, potentially, theoretically. It'll have improved power efficiency. It'll have enhanced coverage capability with AI, improving the range, global support for 5G and such. I want to give a big shout out to a friend of mine and a friend of the show, a supporter of the SMT and the SMT Nation. Big shout out to Mark. Thanks for that super chat, man. Mark also a big supporter of Stetson and the community there. So we appreciate you, man. Thanks for everything that you do. Thanks for your kindness and your generosity. Big shout out to everybody, providing super chats tonight. Thank you. All right, good stuff. Let's wrap up this little bit of Apple stuff now. Let's kind of pivot. Just as a quick little blurb. Target and Apple news. I had no idea they had like a relationship. Apparently they do. The store, the company Target, you guys buy all your toiletries and clothes, and they got Starbucks in there. They got all types of stuff. All right. Big time store. They've got something going on with Apple where they're going to enhance and, I guess, expand on the Apple retail footprint in Targets. Essentially, what it's going to do is it's going to double the footprint and the retail space for Apple within the stores themselves. So this would increase retail space, probably additional signage, more counter space, more services and goods. Basically, I think what they might do, I think they might make like a mini Apple store in there. Device pickup, device purchasing, I don't know, customer care needs. Like, it seems pretty sweet, like if they were to do this. Anyways, this new Apple retail experience, we don't have any details on it, but they're supposed to be doing something with e-commerce. Maybe they can serve corporate customers. I don't know. I'm just looking at it like, what could they possibly bring to the table that previously wasn't available there within the stores? Because that would be cool. Because if you think about it, there's not Apple stores everywhere. Like, some people live 4 hours from an Apple store, so they typically ship out their hardware or order in, get deliveries. But what do you do when you need to go into a store, right? Like, it's not an option. So if it's in a Target, that gives you an additional location where you might be able to be served as an Apple customer. Whether it's the iPhones or the iPads, or it's the services and the MacBooks and the iPads. I mean, it's everything. You get charging cables, cases. You want to go through Apple for Apple Care, all that stuff. That would be cool too, actually. I would be very happy if I found out that there was Apple Care being handled within a Target store. Something tells me that probably won't happen. That's probably going to be sent out for repairs and technicians and things like that. But that would be pretty cool. Be on the lookout for changes. If you have Target stores near you, see if you find any indications of it. In fact, if you do, hit me on Twitter. Share pictures with me. You can find me on Twitter at SneedTech. You can also find my email address for the channel at sneedmobiletech@gmail.com. And, let me know if you see any indications of things happening at Targets. That's going to be huge. People love Target. They buy everything from there. Imagine going shopping with your wife or your family or whatever, and they're doing all the shopping and you're taking care of your Apple needs. iPhones, iPads, and accessories and whatever else. I think that would be sweet. So, cool development in my opinion. It's exciting. I don't know what they have in store, but those are potentially some things, speculating and conjecture there. I don't know what they would do different compared to the Apple Store. Is that what they're going to do? Beyond just selling the iPhone, doing other stuff too. Different experience, bringing people in, more foot traffic. I see it as a win-win situation for both Apple and Target. All right, good stuff there. What else do I got for you guys? What else? Oh, we're going to wrap up tonight's show with some Dish wireless news. Oh, man. So, in case you've been living under a rock, the fourth carrier to replace Sprint is going to be Dish. We use a placeholder name, Dish Wireless. There really is no such thing. It's Dish Network as an ownership company, but it's not really called Dish Wireless. I don't know what they're going to call it. I have no clue. I just call it Dish Wireless because that's all I know right now. All right. Dish Network inks a deal with the tower company SBA. A lot of you have probably heard that company name. You know American Tower, you know SBA, and you know Crown Castle. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring this up is this is basically the last domino to fall to really get a tower agreement that makes sense to do it national. So, this is a pretty big tower deal. I think this is big tower deal number 2 for them. I think the first one was the Crown Castle deal. So, and that was several weeks ago. No info on the monetary amount of this deal. Like, they didn't disclose it, so I can't tell you how many millions or billions or whatever. And we don't know how long it's for, like the duration of the deal. 5, 10, 15 years, we have no clue. Dish is pretty hush on these things. The executives don't really talk much. Dave Mayo and the crew, they don't say anything. But this deal includes tower leases and pre-construction services and site acquisitions and regulations and compliances services. So it's the whole shebang. There's no word of the number of sites on this deal. I couldn't tell you guys. Crown Castle, that deal was for up to 20,000 sites, all macros. The vertical bridge deal that they have was for up to 4,000 sites, all macro sites. And that's what we know right now. That's what we know about Dish. Dish is building a greenfield 5G network, a standalone 5G network from scratch. They're doing Open RAN and such. It's going to be different. They plan on doing the standalone 5G network with a $10 billion budget. They're going to use an Open RAN or O-RAN system or approach. 70% of the U.S. population needs to be covered by Dish Wireless by June of 2023. Expect an official and active market by the end of quarter 3 of this year. And they call it an NFL market. That would mean they're going to be advertising it during NFL games in Q3. So the NFL starts their games in August, and then they really get into the swing of things in September. That might be when we see Dish getting things going. News of a partnership with Amazon could be ongoing and developing. That's huge. Oh, man. That's a game changer. Amazon has so much money. You know, if Dish gets an Amazon partnership, all bets are off. Now you got the financing part of what it takes to build out a network. So if that happens, that's huge. That's like sugar daddy status right there. As, you know, as the Boost Mobile owner and operator, they've become a more profitable Boost Mobile, right? So I haven't really talked about this too much. I'm going to do a dedicated video on it. As the new Boost Mobile operator and owner, they've become profitable, meaning that they're making more money per customer than Sprint ever did. But they've hemorrhaged so many customers. Oh my goodness. They have, customers have fled Boost Mobile. Anybody that had a legacy unlimited plan that enjoyed it and liked it has probably left. In fact, we actually have some numbers. Boost Mobile, since Dish took over, has lost 6% of its consumer base. And that's I want to say in the last 2 quarters, they've lost 600,000 customers. At least 600,000. It might be like 650K. They've only owned them since August. Like mid-August or something like that. So in 2 quarters, they've lost 6% of their customers. Do you guys see concern in that trend? They got to stop the bleeding. You can't lose customers like that. What type of business is okay losing customers? I really hope they're not. I really hope they figure things out. That's horrible. That's just bad business. Apparently, all the customers they have on Boost Mobile, along with the Ting Mobile assets and customers, they have about 9 million customers between those two things. The focus for the new Dish Wireless, we're not really sure what it's going to be. Are they really going to focus on consumer wireless like you and I? Are they going to focus more on business accounts? Are they going to get involved with agencies? Are they going to do anything in enterprise? I have no idea. Will they get involved in wholesale, MVNO, prepaid? How are they going to do retail space? Where are they going to put their stores? Are they going to start in Boost Mobile stores? Are they going to tag team the two? I don't know. I have no clue. We don't know anything. That's the one thing I will say. With T-Mobile, we know everything. They put everything on blast, and we always uncover it and all that. Verizon, you can always watch what they do and figure things out. AT&T's it's pretty obvious it's out there. Dish is they're like ninjas. It's like a thief in the night. Charlie Ergen's pushing all the chips in. You know, to kind of talk a little bit about what's going on with Dish as a company, to give us better perspective on what's going on with their financials and their business. We all know that they operate a satellite TV business. That's their primary thing. Apparently, the TV side is very profitable for them, but they struggle with growth. And they've got Sling TV as the streaming option and such. The Sling TV numbers from 2020 are in. They lost about 118,000 subscribers on Sling TV, and that's for the year. They are now down to 2.47 million subscribers total for Sling. Dish TV lost over 130,000 customers during Q4 of 2020 by itself. And then on the year, they lost over 520,000 subscribers on the Dish satellite TV, the premium option, the pay TV. So I don't know what it is. A lot of people are going to always say 2020 was the year of the pandemic. Business faltered. Numbers are low. People aren't spending as much. They're more careful about their money. I got it. I get it. But we saw HBO Max flourish during the pandemic. We see Hulu thriving, Netflix thriving. You know, they've had price bumps, and the numbers are still there. You know? I don't know. Disney Plus is doing better than ever. Apparently, this was a huge problem for Dish. Hotels literally all suspended their accounts with Dish. And they suspended the services, which means they stopped paying. And I want to say almost half of the hotels that suspended their accounts have yet to resume service. So they haven't even started paying the bill again. That means Dish is hurting in the business side, their business customers. And business customers are usually the most dependable income. They pay their bill every month. They're businesses. They have the ability to do that. They're not getting paid check to check. It's a business. They generate big revenue, especially a hotel, where a customer stays at a hotel for 2 or 3 days and might spend anywhere between $300 and $1,000 or whatever, you know, for a few days. My concern is that if Dish doesn't get a partnership with Amazon, how legitimate can they actually build out a network when the satellite TV growth is non-existent? They're losing customers. Sling was never even that profitable anyways, and they're losing customers. They're in a failing business. They keep talking about a merger with DirecTV, and that's done. I mean, I don't foresee a DirecTV merger happening now, not with this administration, and definitely not with TPG now being a 30% ownership stake in the new DirecTV company with AT&T. I have no clue what is happening right now at Dish as a business side, but the one thing I will tell you is that I think because the satellite TV has no growth, Dish is going to take wireless seriously as the next phase of their business. You know? I'll go ahead and cap off the Dish wireless news. There was an interview with their top executive, Dave Mayo. He is Dish Network, or I should say the upcoming Dish Wireless. He's their executive vice president. He sat down for an interview, and he took some questions and gave us a little bit of insight. He sprinkled in some information. There's nothing earth-shattering or earth-breaking here. But he talked about the new company. He talked about the hiring process, the growth of the team, and then the Greenfield 5G standalone 5G build-out for the network. So for those of you that it sounds like Dave Mayo is a name that rings bells, maybe you've heard it before. He has 20-plus years of experience with T-Mobile and in wireless. So he's been an executive for a while. This dude is, you're not questioning the credentials. He's got them. He was with T-Mobile during the growth years. He's got 3 tasks, 3 things that he does at the company. Number 1, he builds a team of executives and management. Number 2, he leads the network design. And number 3, he makes all the tower deals. All are on deck. I think everything for the most part is mostly in place. Big shout out to my brother Siova. For those of you that are looking for a good channel to subscribe to, entertaining content, dropping the knowledge, check out my brother Siova. Mods, if I can get a link, please appreciate it. Pop that in the live chat. To throw in a couple more tidbits about this, the job of what Dave Mayo does, he's the one who inked all those deals with the network build-out. The Vertical Bridge deal, the Crown Castle deal, the SBA deal. That's him. Again, no American Tower deal, but that could be up and coming. Who knows? He's the one who's in charge of managing all the orders for the radios, for all of the tower sites. He's got deals with Fujitsu. I know that MTI was mentioned. They're going to go O-RAN so they can just add and supplement and modify and upgrade sites on demand with any branded hardware and software. So that Open RAN is probably going to help them save a lot of money. So the O-RAN's going to be their saving grace. They've decided to go this way to save the money. It makes them flexible. It makes them scalable. So as the company grows, they can pivot. There's no vendor restrictions, so they could use Nokia. They could use Ericsson. They could use Samsung. Any company that goes O-RAN, they can use them. I think all companies eventually work in this way because that's the direction that 5G networking is going. Even if they're not O-RAN now, they will be O-RAN compliant soon. Maybe by the end of next year or something like that. He's got the task of building out a national 5G standalone network with $10 billion. Again, I question that going nationwide. It just seems like it would take more than that. We've got carriers spending 18, 20, 22 billion annually. These guys are going to build a nationwide network in $10 billion. We'll see. Right now, Dave Mayo has 1,000 employees. He's got all the regional positions and managers lined up. He's gave us a little bit of insight. I said this before. This confirms it. They have no small cell arrangements. The Dish Wireless Network will not have small cells, and there is no future plans to do it. That means they're far from it. They're only thinking macro sites. So he spoke to the need of the macros as just business sense, makes business sense. It was interesting. He said that in order to get the range of macro sites, you would have to deploy 7 to 10 microsites. I thought that was kind of interesting. I didn't think it was that extreme, but it makes sense. All their deals are macros. They're not doing small cells. Some other stuff. He said that all their current radios do not support CBRS, so they won't be getting involved there, but they will upgrade as needed. So they're going to be responsive and they will pivot. They'll update when and where it's required. They asked about the speeds. He said, we'll be comfortable with our spectrum position. That means they'll be fast enough for their needs, for their customers, for their network load. So they're not going to be blazing fast. You guys are not going to see gigabit speeds from Dish. Will you see 200-300 megabits per second? Sure. All right, you will see that. Remember, customers are not just going to flood to Dish. They're going to stay on T-Mobile, they're going to stay on Verizon, and they're going to stay on AT&T. This just brings another option to the table. He mentioned that the Dish advantage is the fact that they don't have legacy technology to decom and upgrade. So there's no old 3G and LTE hardware. There's no old networking that they have to overcome and adjust to. They're starting from scratch. And I agree. I actually legit agree with that. By starting greenfield and doing it your way, nobody's done it before. There's no precedence. So you can do things the way you want. I've had these conversations with Alexis. Big shout out to Alexis, hashtag Patreon crew. Alexis is right. You have a chance to be a trailblazer. You do it your way. What works for you? You know what I mean? So it's a gift and a curse. The fact that you don't have any pre-existing, infrastructure, but you also don't have anything old that you need to change and upgrade. So this is an interesting outlook and some interesting feedback. He highlighted the tower load management. He said that they'll be able to deal with it. They've got good deals on fiber. I guess things are looking pretty good. Look, I'm not telling you that Dish is perfect right now. I'm not even telling you if they're really ready for the big time or the prime time. But everything has fell into place accordingly. The progress is being made. They just got to show and prove. This interview is available via light reading. The release from Mike Dano. You guys can check it out there. Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the podcast. I want to thank everybody for being here. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you learned something new. I hope you enjoyed your time here. You found yourself entertained and enlightened by all the things happening in wireless networking. I want to thank everybody who provided a super chat. I want to thank all my viewers. I want to thank my mods, those that shared and liked and donated and support me and watch all my content and comment. I appreciate you guys so very much. Thank you so much for your continued support. Let's go ahead and wrap up the show. If you are new, it is your first time here. Please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and then activate the bell notification icon so that way YouTube lets you know whenever I do go live and I upload videos and content. If you want to take your SMT Nation involvement and engagement to the next level, check out our Patreon page. There is a link in the description box below for that. We have a community of 90 plus members, an incredible group within a group, an amazing community. Thank you for your support. Hashtag Patreon crew. And again, I want to thank everybody for everything. Thank you for all you do for the channel. If you're a viewer, somebody who shares, likes the videos, you donate, whatever you do, thank you. I appreciate your engagement and thank you for supporting. Hashtag Mod Squad for all my blue hammers. Hashtag 2Live Crew for those that were here during the live show. Hashtag Replay Crew for those that watch this on DVR. And a special one, hashtag Ravioli Gang for those that were snacking or eating dinner while they were watching this. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for your continued support. I appreciate you all. I hope you have a great rest of the day. Whenever you're watching this, have a great weekend, and we'll catch you soon on the next one. If you hung around till now, I know why. Yeah.